Hey, this is Alberto, the CEO of Didit, and today we're going to see pretty much what we do. So, Didit is the most advanced identity verification platform in the world. That means that if you are a company, an organization that has to integrate anything related to identity verification, like phone verification, KYC, AML, anything really, you probably should go to Didit. And why is that? So we have built this platform which is fully automated, where the user experience is amazing, where the developer experience is super good, and normally it takes less than 1 day to integrate, where the platform is super flexible, so you can integrate any kind of use case for identity verification. And lastly, it is super affordable as well. So we even have a free KYC plan. We are the only company in the world that has that. And you only pay for premium features, and we're going to see more on the pricing later. But in general, our platform is composed by many different features that we call. So here you can see some of them, like the free KYC, the age estimation, biometric authentication, white label, email verification, phone verification, and so on. We are constantly adding more features. So maybe if you saw the video and you're looking for a feature that we don't have, maybe we have already added it. So just check it out. But mostly what I'm going to show you is what the end user sees. So in this case, if you are integrating the free KYC verification, your end user is going to see something like this. So he's going to be able to select any type of country, any type of document. Then he will do the photos of the document. As you see, we have AI models in front end, we have AI models in the back end. We do a lot of checks that we're going to see later. But pretty much super smooth user experience. Everything, all the responses are on real time. And then you can do biometric authentication in this case, which is liveness plus face match. And then, as you see, you are verified on real time. So all the results are on real time, which is super good for the onboarding rate. And this is what your end user will see. Okay, just check it out. We have different flows, so you can check it out. So this is a platform. Okay, this is what the customer, what you will see. Okay, and the people from your team. So you can go to business.didit.me. You can create one account, and then whenever you create an account, you're gonna have one organization. And then you can create multiple applications inside the organization. Okay, so in this case, the name of the organization is Hector, and I have a $46 balance. And then I can just go to the settings, check all the information, then go to the team, invite new team members on team, see all the usage I have done, check all the billing options that I have, all the invoices that I may have. Well, this is organization settings. Most importantly, we have like the top up functionality. Okay, so the way Didit works, very differently from other kind of competitors, is that is pay per usage. So you only pay about the verification that you use. So whenever your end user finishes a verification, then depending on the features that this verification has done, then it's going to be subtracted from the balance. So you just top up credits, top up a balance. You pay for that. For instance, in this case, you like going to do a 2.25K top up, and then you're going to receive free bonus of 50% depending on the amount. The more you buy, the more discount you have, so the better for you. But anyway, you're going to receive credits, and then here you can see the price for every feature that with the discount to the bonus, what it's going to be directly. And you can play around to check it out, keep adding, and you're going to see the total cost of the verification. So whenever the user finishes the verification, this amount is going to be subtracted from the balance depending on the features you use. So you can add it, you're going to do a transaction, and then the balance is going to be added to your account. Okay. So on this tab, you're going to have the verifications tab, which probably is the most important view on the console in Didit. So here you can see all the verification that has been done into your platform, okay, whenever you integrate it. You can create new verification if you want to do some testing before integration and so on. You just can create a new session, select the workflow, and just create it. We're going to see more on that later, but you just can create verifications. So what do you see? Okay, you see all the information like this. Obviously, this information you can also retrieve it through API, import it to your server, receive it through webhooks or real time. But you also have access to the console, so someone from the team can go and check all the information on real time. So here, for instance, you have the information about one verification. So you see the name, photos, extracted, and so on. So here you have some data about the verification, like the session ID, when it was created, which workflow, which device. Here you have some of the warnings that happen on the verification. For instance, a low liveness score, or this user has been duplicated because it has been approved on a previous verification. In this case, this workflow is composed by ID verification, liveness, face match, and IP analysis. So you will have every one of these features. You will have all the information here, like the videos of the process, all the data extracted, all the checks, all the liveness. In this case, as you see, this is a mask, so the liveness score is 0%. We have age estimation as well. Here you can check everything that went wrong, so the liveness score. Then you have the face match, you have the locations, you have more information about the network that the user has done, so the IP analysis, pretty much. So here you have, and you can find all the information related to to have verification. And depending on the features that you have enabled for that verification, you'll see one information or another. So one of the good things that you can do here as well is you can play around with the status. So you can change from decline to approve in case there was a mistake. There's going to be a verification, which is a manual review as well, depending on how you configure the workflow, what we're going to see now. But whenever a verification has a status of in review, you can then approve or decline directly going through the console or through the API. But someone from your team should approve it or decline it. Okay. Here you have a list of everything that has happened. So you know all the errors, all the logs regarding that verification. You can also add this user to the blacklist. For instance, if he's a known frauder, you can add the document, the face, even more data. So the next time this guy try to verify with your application, he's going to be declined automatically. You can also download the PDF for reporting, for regulators, whatever is needed. So here you have all this view, super good. You can filter as well. You can search, for name. You can search for vendor data as well. You can filter as well by workflow, by country, and so on. So you can play around. One of the good things about Didit as well is that we really made a lot of emphasis for the integration to be as easy as possible. So one of the things that we develop is workflows. So you as a customer can develop any kind of workflow depending on your use case. So in this case, you can create different type of workflows like KYC, age verification, biometric, address verification, and questionnaire verification. You can play around and play with all these workflows. Normally, we have this KYC verification as default, which you can select which kind of features you want. As you see, for instance, I want to add like the liveness, the face match, and so on. Here you will see the pricing, and here below you will see the total pricing of the workflow. So that means that whenever a user completes this workflow, then it's going to be subtracted from your balance, okay? And here you can play around. So you can add, I don't know, for instance, I want ID verification, liveness, face match, I want a questionnaire, I want email verification, I want phone verification, and I want AML screening, okay? And here, one of the good things as well that you can do is for every specific feature that we have, you can configure it exactly as you wish. For instance, if you only want to accept people from North America, you could do it. If you only want to accept, I don't know, the passport, you can do it. If you want, for instance, to retrieve the original characters, so non-Latin characters, you can do it as well. So we have a lot of ways of configuring every type of feature. For instance, in the case of ID verification, you can exclude by age. You can select if you want your user to be able to upload documents or you require them to be always on real time, the photos that he takes, what you want to do with duplicated users. So in the case you don't want multi-account in your application, you can add this to review. So whenever we detect a duplicated user, then he's going to be added to in review. So someone from your team can check it out and approve it or decline it automatically. So you can check all these features, for instance, on the liveness, you can select which kind of liveness you want. By default, it's passive, but if you have like a banking, fintech, crypto-like application, we recommend going through flashing or through the action. These are active methods. You can also select what happens depending on the score of the liveness score. For instance, if it happens to be between 40 and 70 in this case, then the verification can go through manual review. If it's more than 70, it's going to be approved, and less than 40 decline. So you can play around with the different configuration. What happens if we detect a face that has been onboarded before? What you want to do? So anyway, you can play around with everything. You can add some custom questionnaire that you can create directly that we're going to see later. You can also do email verification, phone verification. You can do AML screening with ongoing monitoring. So we check daily the databases, and it only costs like 7 cents of credit a year. So super good. And here you can see on real time how the flow is going. Okay. One of the things that we do with it is have a fully white label experience. So just white label everything with your logos, with your branding, with your font, even with your domain. We're going to check more now. So pretty much you can just create one workflow, you can save the workflow, and then what you can do is create one workflow that we're going to see now how to create it. But here you have the workflow ID, which you're going to use later. You can even, whenever you create a workflow, you can also create a session here if you want testing. You can create a session and start a session. For instance, if I want to create a KYC session that I created, I just generate a link, I can scan it, or I can go directly through here, and I can start testing this workflow in real time with real data. So pretty much that's about workflows. Here you have the part about the customization, so you can customize everything regarding your branding. So you can just add your branding, your logos, everything, even host it on your own domain through DNS redirection. So instead of verify.didit.me, the session URL can be verifyyourapplication.com, let's say. Okay, so you can play around, you can skip the welcome screen as well, you can skip the login with Didit as well for the reusable ID. So you can play around, okay, with all the configuration. You can even add your privacy policy and so on. One of the things we recently added, which is pretty good as well, is Questionnaires, which is a feature that you ask a lot. So you can create any type of questionnaire that you can add on the flow directly, and you can drag and drop, like anything directly. Okay, so you can add more languages, to, for instance, select how is on every language, the translations and everything. Directly, you can, we have all type of document of all type of data types, like agreements. You can play around with a questionnaire, like addresses, like images. The user can upload images. He can upload like any file as well. So super flexible, this kind of questionnaire. So you can use it like right away. One of the good things that we have as well is a blacklist. So you can blacklist people, faces, documents, emails, phone. So next time, whenever he wants to be onboarded on your application, he's going to be declined automatically. So you can play around with that. Also, here you have like the information needed for integration, which is the API key, which we're going to see later. You have like the webhook URL. This is where you are going to receive updates for every verification session, for every change of status. We're going to explain more now. You have also webhooks key to validate that obviously the webhook is coming from us. You can also select here and add your email. So whenever we are sending to this verification on manual review status, you receive an email, or you can connect it through Slack as well. And here you can select which kind of data retention policy you want. Like, for instance, if you select this in 1 month, then all the data that you have indeed will be deleted automatically. But you can also delete it through API on real time or using the console like this. Okay, you can export it, you can delete it, you can add AML ongoing monitoring. So you can play around a little bit with all the information. So here you have also some application settings, which is the same as here. You can play around. And one of the good things as well that we have is that we give 7 days a week support, and it's a WhatsApp support. We also have email support, but we prefer WhatsApp because it's easier and faster communication for us. So just click this link, text us, and you can text us if you have like any kind of doubt about the product, you have any bug that you detected, you want to suggest any feature, you just have some question, you can text us, and we can have a conversation with our team. So here you have the support, and here you have the technical documentation. Okay. So by the way, we're going to add the manual checks where you will be able to start doing manual verification. So I don't know if you want to do ID verification, AML, a specific case, you can do it manually here by adding the information about the user. So super useful as well. And here you have the documentation. So if we open that link, you will go through this documentation, okay, which pretty much everything related to Didit on the technical side is here. Okay, so all the features that we have, you can also check here all the steps to start using Didit, which is super easy. You have like how we authenticate through the API, which is through an API key, and you have to use this as the in the header as well. So how is the user flow? We have information about the pricing. The pricing, you can find it here as well, which is didit.me.pricing. You can find the ROI calculator as well, and you will see the pricing with the discount included and the features that you use and so on. But here you have, pretty much what is the pricing in terms of credits. So for instance, if you do an active liveness, you use active liveness feature, then 15 cents of credits will be subtracted from your account. The same with questionnaire, proof of address, and so on. So you can always go here and check the pricing in real time. So here you have as well some information about every service. So the technical docs about how it works, which document we do support. So almost every country, territory in the world type of document we supported. Here as well, you have like on every feature, as you see, there is like a report part where you can see all the data model regarding that feature. For in this case, like the status of this verification of this feature, the document type, document number. So you can check around and you can play with all the information that we return. You have all the information here about every service that you have. More information as well about the white label, you can find it here, about the manual review. So what is a manual review, how you have to do it. So for instance, whenever you have a verification review, you're going to see an alert here, and then someone from your team can go check the verification and approve it or decline it automatically. Okay, if he declines it, he can add a decline criteria. The compliance team or someone from your team can check why. So you can block this user, you can export to PDF, we have analytics, but here's the most important thing, okay, which is regarding integration. So we really put a lot of effort to make the integration as easy as possible, okay? So in this case, the integration is just one endpoint. Literally, you just have to create a session, which you have to call this endpoint with the API key directly, And whenever you do that, then you're going to add the workflow ID that you just created. The vendor data normally is your user UID. The callback URL, which is normally the page that you want to return. Directly, you can add some metadata. You can force one language, but we support all the language, and the language is automatically rendered depending on the browser language of the user directly. So you can play around with this. Importantly, if you use a biometric authentication workflow, so like you want to do the liveness and face match only, you have to send here the portrait image of the user for the face match. Okay, this is, for instance, if you have a fintech application and the user is going to do a high value transaction, you may want to verify that indeed that this action on your application has been done by the user that has been supposed to be. So you send the portrait image, and then it's happened to liveness and the face match with the biometric authentication workflow. So you just create a session, and then what happens is that a URL is returned. Okay, so the URL is returned, and then you can either make the user send the user this URL through any type of communication, either render it on your application directly. So whenever the user clicks a button, you redirect the user to that URL, and then whenever he finishes it, he's going to go back with a callback to your application, or you can directly render it in your application, mobile or web app directly as an iframe or as a web view. So it feels like a fully native experience. Okay, so here you can create sessions. Here you can retrieve the result of the session by the session ID. So you retrieve all the information directly. Normally, you don't have to use that endpoint, but you can use it just for synchronization or just to check information about session ID or bring in the data. You can list all the session. You can delete the sessions through API, so it's going to be deleted from Didit as well. You can generate PDF. You can update the status through API. You can share the session through another party. This is like if you want to share this to a banking as a service provider or something, you can share it as well through API. And then this is for workflows. So super easy. You create a session, then you retrieve the result of the session either through the endpoint, but normally you will do it through webhooks. So you receive for every session that has been created, there is a status, okay? As you see here, for every session which has a session ID, all the statuses you can see it here, which has which go from not started, then when the user starts the process, it's going to be in progress. Then whenever the user is approved, decline, or in review, then whenever the user is approved, but after a certain period, the document that he has done the verification has expired, then you're going to receive a KYC expire status, webhook with a new status. The expire is whenever the verification expires. We have like a 7 days default expiration. So whenever you create a session, after 7 days it expires. And if the user has started the verification, but he has not completed the verification in 7 days, then the status is going to be abandoned. So depending on this status, you're gonna do one thing or another on your application. Normally, if it's expired or abandoned, you will want to create a new one for the user probably. If he is not started or in progress, you're normally gonna show the user the active session URL that he has, the active verification session. And then if he's on review, you're gonna probably have to approve or decline manually and make the user wait. And then if he's approved, he's going to be approved, and you're going to grant access to the platform whenever you need, and so on. So you can play around with the different status. But importantly, every time that the verification session that you created changes a status or any type of data, because you modify the data on the console, which is something that you can do as well, because you can, for instance, modify the name or modify, for instance, let's go here. You, for instance, can go and modify directly the information about the user, like the name and so on. So if you save the changes, directly you're going to receive a webhook with the data changed as well. But yeah, anyway, every time that some data or the status of the verification changes, you're going to receive a webhook, okay, with all the information regarding that. And whenever the session has finished, which means the status is declined, approved, or in review, you're going to also receive all the information about the session that the user has performed, like the first, like the ID verification, with the images, the videos, everything that you saw on the platform, you're going to receive it as well through webhooks, or you can take it through API, all the warnings and so on. So the integration is super easy. It's just creating a session, then connecting the webhooks directly. And here you have examples of how to do it, depending on the language. So you use the webhooks with GIF on the console. You validate the signature, you validate the timestamp, and so on, and then you can just receive the webhook and do whatever you need on your applications. But also we have one very interesting thing is that you can access specific features directly by standalone API. So that means that directly it's not a workflow, it's just you create directly, you directly send, for instance, the images of the document. So the front image, the back image, and the data, and you send the document and you receive a request response, so all the data. So you can send, imagine you have already a database of IDs because you did like manual verification on the past and you want to verify these IDs. You can just call the API and then you're going to receive this response. You can do the same for face match, and any kind of features that we have here, like phone verification for the OTP and so on. So super flexible. Normally, the normal way to go is through workflow. So you create a session, and then you receive the URL, and then this URL you render it as a web view, as an iframe, or you go to make the user go to that URL and then come back with the callback, and then you receive the real-time status update with webhooks and so on. So this is the normal implementation, but if you want more flexibility, you can also use a standalone API to access any service specifically. So here you have as well some example of how to integrate, for instance, on the web app, which is going to be directly you can make the user go to that URL when he clicks a button, for instance, and then he's going to come back, or you can embed an iframe with all these permissions, and then the experience is going to be fully native. Here you have an example on GitHub on how to integrate it on Next.js. You also have some examples of how to do it on iOS and Android. So you can just create a session and then use the web view, with this user agent and so on. So whenever you do that, then the experience is going to be fully native. And then here you have some example on React Native and on Flutter if you want to check it out. Okay, but in general, I want you to understand that Didit is the most advanced identity verification platform. We are super flexible to adapt to any kind of use case. Security is amazing as well. The user experience is ultra optimized. We optimize even like for devices that are Android devices from very long time ago, very bad internet connection. So we really optimize everything. We are a global company that accepts any kind of document. So we have customers worldwide, and we are super affordable as well. So you can check the pricing here, and you can integrate for free, and they pay for premium features. And the good thing is that you can buy credits. The credit do not expire, and then they are subtracted from your balance. So a lot of benefits of using Didit as an identity verification platform compared to other competitors on the market. And I recommend you to test it out, to create verification, to test it out, and just integrate it if you like it. So thank you guys, and I hope you like it. Thanks.